might have come from somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another broadcast of the local show here on GrassRoots Community Network, Facebook Live and YouTube. Guys, thanks for joining us this week where we feature inspirational locals from the Roaring Fork Valley. We're broadcast here at GrassRoots TV in Aspen. Really excited to have a first-time guest. In fact, I just met him today. He's actually recently appeared on Shark Tank, one of my favorite shows, coincidentally. And he is a local entrepreneur. I want to welcome Peter Arlein to the show. Peter,
Erik,
welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really cool. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's probably a little bit of a step down, you know, from Mr. Wonderful and Barbara Corcoran. And
I am used to the big stage, but
I don't have a fin on my back. There won't be any Jaws theme song or Shark Tank theme song, and we'll definitely talk about that. But thank you for joining us here on local TV. And
oh yeah, this is much more my pace.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm.
You don't even have to wear your ski wear. You're just comfortable wearing your street clothes.
That's right.
Shark Tank, you had to kind of like kit out, to get comfortable.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about. But I wanted to just start with something that we've kind of started most of our shows the last year. COVID's going on. It's such a dominant kind of feature in our lives and our society. But we want to kind of angle towards maybe some of the positive things that have come out of it. This last summer, I got to host John Oates for a full 1 hour special with 4 songs live. That would not have happened if COVID wasn't happening. He would have been out on tour. So is there anything like, say, this winter that you've experienced, whether it's, culturally or recreationally or socially that maybe wouldn't have happened without COVID going on? Kind of a silver lining, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for the silver lining. And on a personal note, just being able to slow down a bit and spend more time with family has been great.
Right.
I've got 2 little kids at home, a
how old?
3-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy.
Wow.
And so not having that pressure to always go do something.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like living here in the Roaring Fork Valley, it's, what peak are you going to climb? Where are you going to go? Ski or bike? And
right. Always on the go, like charging.
Yeah, and which is great, and I love that. But being able to just say, you know what, we're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to hang at home.
Yeah.
We'll go in the backyard, the literal backyard or the larger backyard of the valley. And so that's been really nice.
Yeah, especially at their age, right? That's such a precious age for those kids at 1 and 3, and to have their dad around more, and
it's awesome
for you to have that special time.
It's 98% awesome. 2% of the time when they were home from
let's be
daycare,
honest, right? It's not all 100% joy and perfect and never a problem, right?
Right, but 98% of the time it's awesome.
Yeah. What about in the outdoors? Have you had like an outdoor experience you can think of, or an adventure that normally may not have happened, but maybe a special adventure because of COVID?
Well, I guess on the business side of things, which is outdoors, we kind of pivoted a lot of our business last spring. The mountains shut down. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Skiing was pretty much shut off. And so,
right, all that uncertainty.
Not to jump too far ahead in the conversation, but we pivoted to the bike industry and developed a line of bike products and are just starting to get that out onto the market, which has been super cool. And I think with COVID, we wouldn't have done it. We just had so much going on with ski and it was going great.
Right.
But that was a real kick in the butt to get things moving on the bike side.
Okay, so you kind of had that on the back burner? Or did you just start from scratch and say, hey, we're going to do like a bike chain lube, get that going, do all that, kind of testing and research and development? Or was that kind of like on the back burner the whole time?
It had always been on the back burner, and people had been asking for it for years.
Okay.
And then this was finally the motivation to say, okay, let's figure this out. Let's do it.
Okay.
And we got it done.
Nice. Well, interesting, because Mao McQueen, who we had from Mao's Kitchen, had this granola kind of on the back burner. And she was like eating it herself and really enjoying it. And every now and then she'd put some out and would sell immediately at her kitchen. But then when the restaurants got, almost shut down, and I think actually shut down for a while, where they couldn't have anyone inside, that again pushed her to get that granola out there, that additional product, and it's going crazy.
Yeah.
And so actually, if you make it through the show, Peter, you will walk with some of Mao's new, I call her Mao McQueen, Aspen's new granola queen. And she liked that. I said I wouldn't charge her for the, the new namesake.
Yeah, right, the marketing fee.
But that's pretty neat, that silver lining that came out of that. Let's talk about your background a little bit. You born and raised in upstate New York?
Upstate New York, just outside of Albany.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what was that like?
It was great. You know, we were right outside of the Adirondack Mountains, which are
Nice.
beautiful.
Nice.
Grew up skiing in Western Massachusetts. I had a ski resort 20 minutes from my house. They had night skiing.
Which one was it?
Chimney Peak.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Really?
Yeah, because I have other friends, Vince Leahy,
Uh-huh.
who lives in the Aspen area. I think he lives in Old Snowmass now. Yeah, he grew up in Jiminy.
No way.
He's talked about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Way.
I could ski, whenever I wanted to. After school,
Nice.
go up there and take a few runs, and it was great. I loved it. But, I got a little bit of the taste of skiing in Colorado when I was in high school and just knew I had to come out here.
So you took a ski vacation. Which resort did you go to originally?
We came out and we skied Steamboat and Winter Park,
Okay.
and we just had amazing snow and nothing like I had ever skied. And then I just knew after college I had to get back out here.
How did you land in the valley? What was the reason for the Roaring Fork Valley destination?
Yeah, so I went to school in Maine, and one of my good friends there grew up in Aspen.
Okay.
And her dad is Warren Klug, who ran the Aspen Square Hotel for years
I know
and years.
Warren. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
great
friend.
guy.
And Chris, good friend.
And Chris, and
Is it Hillary?
Hillary.
Oh, okay.
Hillary and I went to college together.
Okay.
And so Warren would hire guys from my school every year to come work the front desk.
Okay.
And so I was just like the next guy in line. I was like, I'm moving to Aspen. I'm going to work in a hotel and be a ski bum. And that's what I did.
So you worked at the Aspen Square front desk?
Aspen Square front desk.
I did that, I kid you not, that same job I had for 3 years in the early 90s.
Wow.
And
Good for you.
I lived up in that third floor unit next to the laundry room.
Yep, yep.
Which, of course, I was always one of the first guys in line on a POW day.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just rock across the street,
That's
running
funny.
sometimes with my skis and boots across from the Aspen Square. So that's amazing that you also worked at the square.
Yeah,
It's a
man,
great
I
place
loved
to
it.
work.
It was a great introduction to living in a ski town and being in
Yeah.
Aspen.
Yeah. Well, we got so much to get to, Peter, including Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, we got to talk. We got a lot to get into here. But first, I would just want to take a quick break, our only break of the show, guys. If you're watching live, we'll be right back. But I do want to thank our winter underwriters, Klug Properties, White River Overland, Sundog Athletics, and Pickett County Landfill. We'll be right back, guys, with Peter Arlein. He was recently on the Shark Tank TV show on ABC, and he's a young local entrepreneur with mountainFLOW Eco Wax. And guys, also some tips if you're looking to start your own business, so don't go away.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting and overland outfitting. Catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts, many of WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. Nestled in the White River National Forest, close to the deserts of western Colorado and Utah, WRO also rents camper vans and accessories. More at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics Aspen's Adventure Sports School is your opportunity to experience one-of-a-kind guided adventures and gain new skills to experience the thrills of snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, mountain and road biking, fitness hiking, and Aspen's exclusive fat biking and canoeing adventures. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for more, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the Local Show, guys, featuring inspirational locals. Peters lives in Carbondale here in the Roaring Fork Valley. And we talked a little bit about his background and upstate New York, Jiminy Peak.
That's right.
Graduating to Aspen.
Yeah.
And this is so exciting. And you guys came up with this idea. Like, what was the original impetus? Was it just kind of like combining basically your passion for skiing and your passion for the environment? Can you tell us a little bit of kind of the origin of mountainFLOW Eco Wax?
Sure. Yeah. So it actually started pretty organically. And we started way back in 2016, which most people don't know. We had one product.
That's 5 years ago.
5 years ago. It's
Yeah.
ancient history. And actually, Eric, I think you were one of our first customers. But we made an anti-stick spray that went on top of your skis. And the idea was that it would prevent snow buildup when you were touring. And we were the only people in the world to make this. And it was really popular in a very small segment of the skiing community. And it was great. It got our foot in the door.
People are skidding uphill, basically.
Right, they're
They don't
skidding
want that
uphill.
extra weight on top of their skis.
Exactly. They're paying
Okay.
all this money for carbon fiber skis. They're
Yeah.
sacrificing performance
Right.
to save weight. And then you lug all that weight on top of your skis up the hill.
It's counterproductive at
Right.
that point, yeah.
And the whole impetus was because I was trying to keep up with some local friends skinning up Highlands. And they smoked me. And I looked down at my skis and I'm like, okay, I might not have beat them, but at least if I didn't have this snow,
Right.
I would have been close.
It would help.
Right. So I was like, let me figure out what's out there. There's got to be a product that does this. And there wasn't. And so we found one that worked, and it happened to be eco-friendly. So we launched, and it went pretty well. And that got us into a bunch of ski shops around Colorado and kind of around the country. People said, we love this spray. We love that it's eco-friendly, but you should really make a base wax
For underneath.
for underneath. And I thought, you're crazy. I don't know how to make a base wax. I'm a Top Sheet guy. That's all I know.
I'm not a rocket scientist,
Right.
man, or a chemist.
Right, I don't know, how am I going to figure this out? But the seed was planted. And so at that point, I started doing research and realized that all of the base wax, almost all of the base wax in the world was made from petroleum. And whatever you put on your skis or your board goes into the snowpack and then into the local watershed.
Right, and then it's in our drinking water.
For
literally.
us, that's drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the Western U.S. for the most part.
So this snow melts, this petroleum chemical, and everything else that's toxic in our ski wax is kind of flowing into the environment, basically. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Yes, that's the root of the problem.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I should be able to recreate this with plant-based waxes, non-toxic, biodegradable. And it took a long time. Soon into this journey, I realized why no one else had done it.
Did you test like over 200 formulas?
200 formulations
Yeah.
over 2 years
Wow.
before we were really confident in the wax, that it would work in every condition. We knew it was going to be just as fast. One thing we didn't want to do was have an asterisk next to our product. Eco-friendly, but not really that high performance. Right? It had to work just as well.
But you're going slower now. Wah,
Right.
wah. Yeah.
I don't want to ask people to sacrifice performance so that they can be green.
Right.
And so that's why it took so long to get the performance to the same level.
Did you study PAM? Because I've heard guys that
People
have just
use
said, hey,
that.
if you're in a bind,
Yeah.
spray PAM on the bottom of your skis. And I mean, is it anything like that? Or can you talk about the ingredients or formulation?
Yeah, the root is vegetable-based or plant-based, just like PAM.
Okay.
Other than that, it's quite different.
Okay.
So we use a combination of different plant-based waxes.
Okay.
And based upon the ratio, it's either a warm weather wax or a cold weather wax.
Okay.
But essentially, we mimic the qualities of a normal petroleum-based wax. You want it to be hydrophobic. You want it to have high slip, and then a certain hardness, right, so that it can be stronger than the snow crystals. And so we mimicked all of those qualities using plant-based material, and eventually we figured it out.
Wow. So it's just that was quite a testing process over a couple years with all these different formulas. So you're basically studying what plant can I source from these different plants, and then the different levels of ingredients and tweaking that.
Yes.
Came out with that, and we've got an example of one of the products right here. And I've been using this now for a couple seasons, and I have also been using the bike chain lube.
Great.
And
yeah.
I found high performance on both products.
Yep.
I feel good too because of the environmental aspect.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of like now I've got so much joy and pleasure from decades, recreating in the mountains. And now it's, I think, time to give back, right? Isn't that one of the things that you enjoy? It's kind of that give back.
Yeah, absolutely. You can I love tuning my skis or tuning up my bike. And now you can do it guilt-free. A, you're not harming yourself with the chemicals getting on your hands. And B, when you're out skiing or riding, whatever comes off your equipment is going to be okay.
Right, right. Yeah, you're not leaving. It's kind of almost a leave no trace.
Exactly.
I'm not leaving anything toxic behind me. I'm not really leaving a trace, that's harmful.
Right.
And so where can people, is it just sold online, or is it now out on retail and retail stores, or kind of just, where can people find mountainFLOW Eco Wax products?
Yeah, so we've had amazing support in the Valley. Just about every ski shop from Aspen to Glenwood carries our products.
Okay.
So people can find it there. If they're watching outside of the local area, mountainFLOW.com has everything available too.
And recently I mentioned you were featured on Shark Tank, but you didn't go after them. Most people who are on, I think, appear are applying, trying to appear, sometimes just for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
I've been watching the show for years. I love it. I've actually thought about a couple product ideas I might take in front of them, but nothing was as solid as what you have. But can you just briefly describe that experience on Shark Tank?
Yeah, so they reached out to us about a year ago, and it wasn't even on my radar. Obviously, I was familiar with the show.
You'd heard of it, but not, You weren't like into it, or
I liked it, but I didn't see it as a strategy for mountainFLOW. Right. I just didn't think our products would be interesting to them because they're kind of a niche thing. Yeah. Right. For people who live in Aspen, it's a no-brainer.
Right, right.
But for everybody else who watches the show, I didn't think it would make sense. But after a few phone calls, they were sold. They loved the idea. And then once I finally got onto the show, it turns out that half the investors were big-time skiers and snowboarders.
Oh, nice.
And so they totally got it. They understood about waxing their equipment and the value of having an eco-friendly product.
So which of the sharks were like skiers or snowboarders? Like, was Mark Cuban a skier, or which one of them?
No, he was not a skier.
Okay.
But he did agree that if he were going to go skiing, he would use this wax and that I could take him out. So that was a win in my book.
Okay.
Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary is a big skier, and Barbara and Damon John is a snowboarder.
Okay.
And those three all put offers on the table.
Okay. And how did that kind of play out? I mean, you walk in, you're in your ski gear.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have, what, is it a minute or two to make the presentation? How does that kind of flow? No pun intended, but. Yeah. Was there a plant-based flow to it?
There was some flow.
An organic flow.
Beforehand, I was pretty nervous.
Yeah, yeah.
You're standing backstage. They have these doors that you see everybody walk through.
Yeah, yeah.
And the anticipation is building, and there's a camera in your face, and they say, "Go," and you strut out there, and there's these 5 super famous people staring at you. But once I started talking and I got into the pitch, it was natural.
Right. You had obviously rehearsed it.
I had rehearsed it, and this is what I do every day. I could talk about it forever.
Right.
And so once I started talking about it, it was really fun. And then to see how engaged they were, and they were asking great questions.
Nice.
It was really fun, more than anything.
And how did that end up then?
We ended up getting a deal with 2 of the sharks, with Barbara and Kevin.
Nice.
They came together on a deal.
So they come out, so you were like, okay, you guys got a deal. They came out, gave you a hug and and all that good stuff and congratulate you? And
Well,
what
no
are they-
hugs because of COVID.
Oh, okay. So the distancing now.
so you're
that's
kind
true.
of doing, the fist pound across
Okay.
a 20-yard gap.
And then what are they saying to you? Kind of as you close the deal and you're about to walk out of the set. Like, do you remember what was exchanged there?
Yeah, I mean, they were just super pumped to be on board,
That's so awesome.
which was really cool to see how enthusiastic they were about this product.
And how did the deal work? How was it structured?
So I gave them a portion of the company in exchange for money. And we
Okay.
kind of agree on what we think the company is worth at the time.
Right.
Um,
The valuation.
the valuation,
And
exactly.
they bought a certain amount of percentage of equity.
Yep. So they
Okay.
bought 20% of the company.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then as soon as you get off stage, you start meeting with their team and hashing the deal out.
Wow. And then how much are you in I mean, this happened pretty recently, but how much are you in communication with them directly to Kevin and Barbara?
Yeah, with the Sharks themselves, a little bit.
Okay.
With their teams, quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah, they've built these amazing teams that are really experienced in helping brands get up and going. And so I've been working with them quite a bit.
Okay. And what specific aspects are they going to help you with? I mean, besides the capital, the funding.
Yeah, the capital is just one part of it.
Yeah.
But, their networks are huge.
Right.
So helping get into some larger stores that we're not currently working with, or tapping into a new audience that may not be familiar with our products. That's where they really come into play.
Okay. Wow, that's so neat. Now, we talked a little bit about this as you've tested your product against other products. You've got also some, and what are you finding? Like when you test, say, compared to other ski waxes or more high-end racing waxes, what are you finding in terms of comparison to like standard waxes, basically?
Yeah, so before we launched any of our products, we did a series of controlled performance tests.
Okay.
They call them speed traps,
Okay.
where essentially you have, a start gate and a finish line, just like you would in a race.
Okay.
And you ski down, you've got different waxes on different pairs of skis, and you just run a bunch of trials. And then afterwards, you crunch the numbers and you can say, this was faster, or this was faster, or they were essentially the same. And so we did that for all of our products before we launched.
Okay.
And our standard waxes are just as fast as a comparable wax on the market.
And you've got some pretty high-end athletes.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that are using mountainFLOW Eco Wax?
Yeah, so this year we launched a race wax, which is really big to have an eco-friendly race wax.
Yeah.
Normally you approach any racer with the word eco and they're running away as fast as they can. Right? Because normally
Because they don't think it's going to sacrifice performance.
Yeah, they just don't go together.
Right.
But we were able to license some technology that's biodegradable, eco-friendly, and it makes our wax just as fast as anything else out there.
Nice. Can you name names?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So locally, we've got Bridger Guile skiing on our wax.
Nice.
And super pumped to have a local kid on the team.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, super nice guy. And then internationally, we signed Alexander Kilde, who's Norwegian.
Yeah.
He's the overall World Cup champion from last year.
Right.
So having him ski on the wax as well is a huge endorsement for us.
That's huge. And then Chris Davenport, we actually just recently hosted on the show 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Who everyone knows, Dav in the Valley.
Yeah, he's
does all
been a
kinds of
huge
skiing.
fan. Before he was officially on our team, he was super supportive of the product. And yeah, we're pumped to have him on the team as well.
Peter, we're down to just a couple minutes already, but people are like sitting on the fence, and all of us go through that kind of like, I don't know if I should go for it and like launch this business or pursue this idea. And, you've gone through this process, and I'm actually coming up on 25 years in May with my business,
Yeah.
Sundog Athletics. But there's a little bit of a, fear and apprehension and just wonder how, will it work? And do you have some advice, for aspiring entrepreneurs?
You got to just go for it.
Yeah.
There's always going to be hurdles. There's always going to be problems.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn to overcome it. But the only way that you're going to be able to figure it out is by doing it.
Right.
The analogy that I think about in my head is, if I've got a line picked out that I want to ski, maybe it's a cliff or something that's really terrifying. And it's not about doing it perfectly,
Yeah.
right? It's about just doing it,
Right.
right? Maybe, you drop a pole when you off the jump, but you did it and you're stoked. And then next time you do it a little bit better and a little bit better, and then you've got it figured out. But you got to take that first step.
What about the money part? Like, how do people face that? Because they're kind of like, how would I fund this? Do you have a couple suggestions on funding? I mean, besides Shark Tank,
Go on a super
get Mr.
popular
Wonderful.
national TV show, get a ton of money from famous people,
there you
and
go.
your path is paved.
Slam dunk.
Yeah, so
Game over.
easy. I mean, I bootstrapped it for 3 years, and paid for everything out of pocket, and kept it small, and tested the markets, and learned, and then reached out to some friends and family, and was able to get a little bit of money to get started, and you know, and just start slow and steady, and get some people on board that were able to help out.
What about a couple goals for the next year for the business? What are a couple goals you have in mind?
Yeah, getting the bike product off the ground is going to be huge. And international too. You know, we've done an awesome job here in the States, but really making a big push internationally.
Okay. Did you have fun on the show today, Peter?
This is awesome.
I wish we had more time, but I hope you had a good time.
This is great. Thanks, Eric.
Oh, thank you for appearing. Congratulations on your early success, although it has been 5 years now.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting and overland outfitting. Catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts, many of WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. Nestled in the White River National Forest, close to the deserts of western Colorado and Utah, WRO also rents camper vans and accessories. More at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's Adventure Sports School, is your opportunity to experience one-of-a-kind guided adventures and gain new skills to experience the thrills of snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, mountain and road biking, fitness hiking, and Aspen's exclusive fat biking and canoeing adventures. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for more, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to